Everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another LDRS Creative card making video. For today's project, I'm using the Christmas flower impressions and a foil plate along with the coordinating dies, and I've already die cut die cut the flower from masking paper without stamping it, and I also am using the hand torn rectangles, and I've die cut the smallest rectangle. I will be just using the frame, so I cut A2 piece of masking paper and position the die in the center and die cut it. Also, we'll be using the Good Cheer Sentiment 6x8 stamp set to add a sentiment to our card. So let's get started. I also have a pre-cut A2 piece, which is 5.5 by 4.25 from the LDRS Creative Cotton Watercolor paper, and I want my flower to be on the left side. So on my Better Press system, I'm positioning that flower on the right side, so when pressed, it will be on the left side. I'm positioning it a little off the A2 mark lines, and also secured piece the watercolor paper on the cover of the Better Press system. I'm adding some black ink. I'm putting the top, and next, by magic of YouTube, we have our impression. Now I can remove my piece of paper and we can move to finishing our card. So I also pulled out the negative from that die cut flower. I will use to position that masking paper to be nice and centered on top of the flower. We're going to mask the flower so we don't ink blend over it. So once I have positioned that masking paper over the flower, I'm removing the negative. Next, I'm using the frame or the negative piece from the hand torn rectangle, and I'm positioning over the watercolor panel. So you will see here that that piece is overlapping with the flower, and that's our intention. We're doing some reverse masking here with the rectangle, and we're doing masking with the flower. So I'm adding some kind of blue-green colors. I'm adding darker on the bottom and lighter on the top, and in order to create nice gradient or nice ombre look. Since we are doing a Christmas card, once I'm done with the ink blended, then I decided to add some splatter with white acrylic paint. So I'm kind of adding more darker on the bottom here, and I think that I'm done here. I'm just adding here, I had handy, that's a mat that's already like still in packaging, so I didn't want to splatter the acrylic paint on my surface, so I did it on the packaging of that mat, so I can just toss it after we're done. Next, I remove the masking paper and to reveal the magic. So you can see how we have that reverse masking and the flowers are nice and white and there's like no ink on them. So to color the flowers, I'm using watercolor pencils. I'm doing very simple coloring. The LDRS Creative Cotton watercolor paper works beautifully with colored pencils. So I'm just adding some in the center of the flowers, and then with my watercolor brush, I'm pulling it towards the tips of the petals. I will repeat the same process for coloring the leaves of this flower. So I kind of sped up the video here so you're not watching me for half an hour coloring this image. I'm just repeating the process. For this flower, I just added all the colored pencil at once, and then I blended it all the petals at the same time, well, one by one, but going one to the next one instead of stopping, adding more color and moving to the next petal. Okay, now we have the petals colored. We're gonna color the stem, paint the stem and the leaves. I'm using 2 shades of gray, green, not gray, and I'm adding first the darker, then the lighter, and blending it with or pulling that color with my watercolor brush. Kind of repeating here, first I do one leaf to see if I like the result, and then once I'm satisfied, I'm starting to add some pencil on the other leaves, and then I'm adding the lighter color, and then I will blend it with or activate that pigment with my watercolor brush. So I've noticed that I have the best results when I start from the area where I don't have any pigment and kind of start pulling for the tips of the leaves towards the center or the base of the leaves, and then moving the paint back, since the tips of the leaves were already wet, so it's much easier to spread that paint or pigment and get greater blend. Next, I'm using a sentiment from Good Cheer Sentiments. I position it with in my stamp positioning tool, and I'm using black ink to stamp that sentiment. Since the flower is going off that blended ink blending toward rectangle, I made also the sentiment to go off the rectangle on the other side, so it balances out the panel. To finish off the card, I'm just adding some liquid glue on back of my panel, and then I have pre-made a 2-top folding card, which I used 4¼ by 11 piece of white cardstock scored and folded in half. I'm adding some strong magnets here, so I make sure that that's nice and adhered and it lies flat. I just press it in the middle and let it dry, and our card is finished. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the LGRS Creative YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so you get notified whenever we have new videos. Also visit our blog for more ideas and more inspiration. Thanks for watching. Bye!